You gotta be built for this, bro. And I think that's the same with every industry. If you want to be successful in the industry, you have to be built for it. But with this specifically, with you trying to start your own brand, you have to be built to lose. Because you're gonna take L's, you're gonna fail multiple times. But you gotta get back up, bro. You literally have to get back up.
Hey guys, welcome to Push the Wealth. I'm your host, Gabby Angel, and I'm here with the owner of the very clean fashion icon in the uptown area of New York City, Nees. We're gonna have a conversation about fashion, about business, and trying to give some motivation to the youth on the entrepreneurship side.
That's a fact.
So Nees, let's start off right away, right? What's the concept of the very clean?
Well, first off, thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate that. And secondly, the concept of the very clean, I guess it's trying to bridge the gap between streetwear and high fashion, but like making sure that everything is, in a sense, literally clean. So whether that be the seams on your garment or literally the actual garment being clean itself, pretty much those two things right there, being clean and then trying to bridge the gap between streetwear and high fashion, you know? That's pretty much the concept of my brand. But I didn't realize that until after I started it, yeah.
And tell me, isn't there a significance behind the name Very Clean? 'Cause I know you have a slogan that I actually love, and it's cleanliness is closest to what?
Cleanliness is next to godliness for sure. Like, I feel like everybody like uses that quote and just has seen it. But it's significant because when the brand was started, I knew that we were trying to push like cleanliness, like being clean in terms of your feet, your socks, even your shape up, everything. Coming from New York, you kind of have to be clean. And I guess it's significant because we just added the very, so we could show that it's that important to us, like it's that important to be very clean. Like you could be clean, but like you have to be very clean, And I guess it was just something that stuck, It stuck.
So tell me, how did this brand, this idea start?
So, I mean, I guess this has to do with like my upbringing too. Like I think I've always been more so creative, but I definitely gravitated towards clothing before I gravitated towards any type of other creativity. So for example, in 7th grade, I had a dad cap and I had a shoelace and I cut out a few pieces of the shoelace and I stitched the two letters N and S. Because, my nickname is Nees, so I thought that I kind of wanted to give myself an identity by making a hat that I made myself and nobody in the world had type shit. And this was in 7th grade and I didn't realize until I was like in college that kind of started like my creative like risk taking with like clothing and shit. So I guess this started in high school, but I didn't really establish the brand until college. So long story short, I was in college and it's funny because I went into college as a public relations major, but I came from a high school that I didn't really know what college was. I didn't really know what to expect. I come from the Heights, like, I don't know any, like, that many people that really went to college and really, like, had a successful college career. So it was kind of new to me. So I guess it gave me a chance to just, like, escape, though. And that's where I really found out what I wanted to do, and that was graphic design. So the first semester que diga, I don't take any art stuff, and I'm bored. I'm bored with school. I'm bored. The next semester, one of my friends, she tells me to try to join that class because it's Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, and it was a graphic design class. So I joined that class, and that class changed my life. It pretty much like inspired me to learn graphic design, to make sure that I could do everything I wanted to do, graphic design. And then it led me to understanding what I really wanted to do with graphic design. I wanted to take those designs and put them on shirts and sell those shirts. That's what I really wanted to do. So from that class, I literally had to beg the chair of the department to be put into this class that was a level 300 class, but I was only a first semester sophomore. So I had to write a crazy email and I begged. I was like, yo, I've been waiting for this my whole life. But mind you, I didn't really know what screen printing was. And after I took that class, that's when I pretty much started my brand. You know, it was like something that, like, it was like a firework. Like, once I ignited that firework, it just went off. It just literally went off.
So, what college did you go to?
I went to SUNY Oswego. It was a very small school. It was 6 hours away from the city. And I guess the best thing about the school was that it had a big ass lake.
Going back to the upbringing that we have, where we're from, you know, college kind of saved your life in a way.
Not gonna lie, like, all jokes aside, bro, I feel like I always tell my mom that because I was 17 years old and I was a young kid in New York City. And I'm from Washington Heights. I went to school in Harlem. I know people all over the Bronx, Dykeman, Brooklyn. You could just start to see where things could go bad, you know? But college removing me for 4.5 years kinda saved my ass. No funny shit, bro, because who knows what I would have done. You know, like I didn't have a big ass apartment. Nobody in the Heights has a big ass apartment. You know, I got 2 siblings and I lived with my mom and my grandmother. So I didn't have the most space to do whatever I wanted to. And I know I kind of assumed that would have led me to not being interested in college, you know, as opposed to me being upstate. I was kind of forced to find what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be forced over here to do something. I wanted to force myself to find what I wanted to do, you know? So I think college did save my life, for real.
I respect that.
Now that you say it like that, yeah.
So now
Crazy.
going forward, because you know, anyone who watches this, you know, we're gonna have people from all over the place watching it, but anybody who watches this who is kind of from our generation and is from our area knows that you kind of blew up, bro. Kind of blew up. You kind of blew up in the city. Like, all of a sudden, you would see your logo at parties, barbecues. Eventually, started seeing, you know, because the older we little got, started seeing people wearing it at the club. So, like, you know, it was at one point it was a local thing. I feel like it's grown. It's grown. But tell me, how did that journey start? From, you know, you're learning how to do graphics in college. And then let's say you come back, or were you in the summers coming back and bringing stuff back? Like, tell me that journey.
That's an interesting topic. When it came to summer in Oswego, it was I preferred summers in Oswego as opposed to summers in New York because
So you would stay.
So yeah, I actually did stay, and it turned to a point where I was going back and forth. The first year, obviously, I came back home. I needed to be back in the city, back in the hood. You know, they didn't even have patelitos up there, so you get what I'm saying. But then it got to the point where the brand and like my creative journey meant more to me than being over here in a sense. I started staying up there. When it came to like my sophomore, junior year, I was so invested into that screen printing class and studio that they gave me the key to the studio as a second semester sophomore. And that's something that I will always mention because you just, like, the regular sophomore doesn't just get a key to the whole art studio. It doesn't make sense, you know? When classes would end, the studio would be empty. So think about that. A kid with the determination, with the drive, with the hunger that doesn't have a studio in New York City with the chance to spend 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it is, in a studio with screen printing materials, screen printing equipment, and everything in between, bro. It was like I was in a playground, bro. So I just started creating my own shit and experimenting with everything. And then when it was time to come home, I'll bring some of the stuff home, give it out to my boys, give it out to my family, and I guess it really forced me to create that business because I saw real potential. Yeah, I saw real.
You was putting out the product just for fun.
Just for fun.
For creativity.
Yeah.
And you saw demand.
Yeah.
So tell me, how was that transition into, you know, because it is a hard transition. A lot of people, you know, can't be creatives and entrepreneurs at the same time. That's really, I feel like that's where the biggest battle is. Some people realize that, and they'll bring somebody into the business that's more business minded, and they're cool with that. And some people just kind of hit a wall because they just don't want to accept the help and don't accept the reality.
Yeah.
And every creative could be a business person. So tell me how that transition was. Okay, this is something creative, and now I'm turning it into a business.
You know, bringing it back to where I'm from and my neighborhood, we're not taught to be entrepreneurs or creative or bosses. We're not taught that.
Employees.
Yeah, we're taught to work. So I guess when I was selling the first t-shirt that I actually screen printed myself, I kind of gave one to my cousin on some, it was his birthday. It was like his birthday week. So I was like, yo, happy birthday, cuzzo. I got you. He's in Oswego. Yeah, he's in Oswego with me. That's my cousin, you know. So I gave him the shirt and I took a picture of him with the shirt and I put it on my Instagram. This was in 2015. And then I realized that people wanted to buy the shirt. And knowing that I was screen printing already, I printed 12 of those tees. I'll never forget this. It was a white long sleeve tee. It had 4 designs, and it was the first design that I sold. I printed 12 of them. I think I sold like 9 of them in the first week. It hit me when I went to the library to meet up with somebody, and they was like, yo, you got the white t-shirts, right? That's you. And I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's me. Yeah,
you want one? On campus.
And I sold the white long sleeve t-shirt for $40, bro. As a sophomore in college, you know, when your family doesn't come from money, it's like, yo, wait, what? I sold $5 ink, a $3 shirt, my hard work, my dedication, my effort for 40 cash. Hold on. That's when I realized that I needed to turn this into a business, and I needed to turn my mindset into a business mindset. And from there, bro, I guess I was like a sponge. I was just absorbing everything and anything relating to business
and
fashion and creative funding, anything in that nature. I guess that's when it was, when I was in that library and I sold that white tee, literally, bro. It sounds so weird saying it now, but that's when I knew.
You know, I remember between 2016 to 2018, I started seeing the brand more and more uptown, right? Was there any specific strategy you were employing, or were you just, you know, being yourself? You know, probably being yourself, you know, as well. But, you know, were you like, okay, I know these people partying, these young promoters, cause I know the names, you know, I know the names that I saw were in the very clean. Sure. That took me to be like, wait, what's this? So, and I can mention them here. I know, like, you know, you have Anthony for sure.
My dog.
You know, Anthony for sure was one of the first few people. I remember there was a party in a basement by Dykeman, and that shit was like very clean. Everything. I think you sure you didn't do that event? Because if I'm not mistaken, there was like a very clean something in there when you walked in. It was like, I don't know. I just know I saw everyone wear very clean. Like that was from that crew. You know, and as we grew, you know, Toboga, right. I'm seeing all these promoters, I'm seeing Swoopy, I'm seeing like very clean. I'm like, what's this? You know what I'm saying? So was there any strategy to that, or was you think it was just genuine support people have for you?
I guess.
Or both. It could be both.
Yeah, literally, I think it was 3 things, bro. I think it was support from people, for sure. For sure. I'm always thankful for the support. If you're watching this and you ever copped anything from me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Support. A little bit of strategy for sure. I definitely wanted to give gear out to DJs, to promoters, to people who are in the scene and who are gonna be seen for sure.
I even got gear low key. Y'all don't know about that.
I think the third piece was just you know, little portion of this was good luck and like blessings, you know, just from God and just the universe just sending that good energy towards us, bro. It'll be the t-shirt will be in the perfect spot at the perfect time. And you know, that causes domino effects, you know. That person could see it, yo, what's that? Yo, bro, da-da-da. I'll get a follow, I'll get a purchase on my website. So those small, you know, instances where people wear them in the clubs and the barbecues, they really help too. So I think it was those 3 things that pretty much helped the brand for sure, bro, for sure. For sure.
So one thing that, you know, not just being from a community we are from, you know, but also being from ethnicity that we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't see a lot of Dominicans or specifically Dominican people from our neighborhood really shine, especially in the fashion world. And I know besides you, I only know one more name in the fashion world that's Dominican, which is BC's, the Lo Mio sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wanted to bring that around. Like, does that inspire you to do
sure.
more? Like seeing like someone like him, and I feel like for me, you would be next. And it's like, okay, if that person inspired and you're inspiring, like, why? If there's already two Dominicans doing it, because he's doing it with Nike,
Right. Yeah.
you doing it with someone else that we're gonna speak about later on. You know, so it's like, what do you see? What inspiration you get from that, and what do you see? Maybe you doing something like that.
I mean, I get a lot of inspiration from that, bro, because that's another door that we kicked down in a sense. And you know, when he released that first AF1, I feel like all Dominicans won with that one. You know, it was just a
I mean, bro, back in the day, you had to go buy a patch to put on your forces.
Yeah, to put on your hat.
To put on the hat. I remember we're shooting in the Washington Heights area, and on 179 around there used to be a hat store. Asian hat store where you could go and put the patch on the Yankee hat.
That's a fact.
It was like $20, and it would just heat press, transfer heat. But we didn't even know like you could do this like on your own. And shout out to Randy, who's also an alumni of our podcast, that does his own hats and stuff. But again, we didn't know that was possible.
Word,
so
bro.
Again, being from that, like, it's crazy to see our culture being like showcased on a shoe that is so legendary to our community.
Legendary. That shoe is
to our community specifically.
Sure.
To our, like, it just Air Force Ones, man.
AF1, that's the staple of New York City. Feel me? And for Dominican to collab with Nike and release that was like him, you know, stepping on everybody, stepping on the ground, and just
I wish he was from Uptown.
Shockwave. You know?
I wish he was from Uptown, but he's from Queens. But you know, he got a lot going on over there. He has actually a collective of Dominicans as well, and other cultures. You know, we're not being biased. We're just being proud of our heritage.
We're very proud.
You know, but now going into what you got going on, right? I'm very proud of you. You know, I'm giving you flowers on camera.
Appreciate that.
I actually reached out to you when I started thinking of my idea of a podcast. At first, we were thinking of calling it Neighborhood Heroes, and the inspiration to Neighborhood Heroes was you, because I had just literally seen that you reached a deal with Footlocker.
Word.
So I'm thinking, like, you know, growing up, Footlocker was where we went to buy everything from sneakers to t-shirts to book bags to socks. You know, me, myself, my journey in life and entrepreneurship and even being known locally was through Footlocker, through buying sneakers and reselling them. So, you know, that's a beautiful journey. It's something that is a staple in our community. You know, I was proud of that. And I kind of want you to tell me, like, you know, how did that even come about? How the hell, you know, does Nees from fucking Washington Heights get a fucking deal with Footlocker?
I did it. And they said I wouldn't, bro. I guess, to be honest, it's just a mixture of hard work and consistency.
Don't tell me you got an email out of nowhere.
And kind of. It was out of nowhere, but
was it?
Like I said with the support, it was three things again: hard work, consistency, strategy, and then again, good luck and blessings. Because if it weren't for Footlocker employees catching on to the brand and wearing it, going to work, taking it off in the break room, then this probably would have never happened. You know, if it wasn't for my little cousin knowing somebody in Footlocker and saying, yo, that's my cousin right there. He does the brand, you know, like check him out. Then this probably would have never happened. And if it wasn't for me trying over and over again, even if I release a hoodie and only two people buy it, I still keep going and trying, then, you know, it probably wouldn't have been like this if I would have never kept on going. So I guess that consistency and that hard work literally led me to one of the biggest shoe and sportswear retailers in the world. And it's crazy to even think about it now, because like, it's crazy, bro. We used to go to Footlocker to buy socks, like you said. And now my clothing is in Footlocker, where you could go in and buy it in Footlocker, and like, it's produced by us.
And you're just getting started.
And
I know the deal just got started. Bro. So, you know, we're gonna speak about the deal a little bit. You know, there's some things that we might not be able to touch, but you know, is there any difference creatively and we will have to speak on actual deal. Is there anything creatively you have to do different when dealing with a major retailer?
Yeah, you definitely have to be more mindful, because the garments that people in Dykeman might like, they might not like that in Long Island, and if there's a Footlocker location over there that gets the same gear, you really have to be mindful that they should also resonate with the gear if it's successful. So you definitely got to be more mindful, and
So I think it opens up your mind more, right?
for sure, yeah, it definitely challenges you for sure to like now try to impress this type of group now. You did it with this group, try to impress them now.
Demographic, and you're probably getting those numbers back too. Like that's something that helps your brand as well, because working with a retailer, they can tell you, okay, look, we're doing these numbers here, we're not doing these numbers there. We might open up this store for you. What can we do? You know what I'm saying? So I believe it is. It's probably more work, right? Dealing with someone who kind of tell you what to do in a way. But also tell me, so just so we could show the youth, right, that if they wanted to go create a brand tomorrow and then eventually have a deal with a major retailer, are you losing that much profit when you're working with a retailer, or do you feel like it still outweighs the loss of profit, like the positivity of it?
I guess I wouldn't focus on nothing with the word loss, because this opportunity is the best opportunity that has ever been presented to me, and could potentially be presented to somebody else. So when you're working with this magnitude and with these quantities,
give them tips.
Nothing is a loss.
If they was to get an email tomorrow from any company, any major retailer, I want to work with you, which and not to be too much business, right? What you were doing before is direct to consumer. You were selling products direct to the people. Now you have a middleman, basically, right? What are the tips you would give someone who's 15 years old, starting his brand tomorrow, and he does get that email from a major retailer, or he's trying to approach a major retailer?
You got to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent. Even if you take 7 L's back to back, that 8th one might be your lucky day, bro. You got to stay consistent, and you have to understand the business of things, When I say that, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about you have to create a website. You have to create extremely exclusive branding for your business. You got to do stuff like that to make you stand out, to make your brand stand out. It isn't only about the garments that you create or the designs that you put on. It's about the structure, because you could build a building, right? But if it has no windows, it wouldn't be successful. If it has no roof, it doesn't work. It's the same with a business. You got a clothing brand that got fire designs, but your customer service is trash. You don't know how to ship. You charge people $30 for shipping. It has to make sense, in order for these brands and these companies and even these pop-up shops to contact you and say, yo, we saw your work, join us, Got to stay consistent, and you got to literally understand the business of things,
It's also good to touch on this, because I haven't seen all your journey. I've seen some of it, and people only see the wins, right? They see the outcome, right? And I'm pretty sure, to me, you're doing great, but you probably want to go 20 steps ahead, right? So I want you to tell them, like, I know you've done trade shows, you've done pop-up shops. Tell them about the process, because everyone wants to go and make $1 to $2 tomorrow and think it's gonna be $1 million company. Tell them about the process, man. Tell them about the hustle. All the work you did put into it, all the trade shows. Remember the uptown pop-up shops, like the marketplaces. Like it wasn't just a piece of cake. It wasn't like I'm gonna just throw some shirts out and call it a day.
Nah, you gotta be built for this, bro. And I think that's the same with every industry. If you want to be successful in the industry, you have to be built for it. But with this specifically, with you trying to start your own brand, you have to be built to lose. Because you're going to take L's. You're going to fail multiple times. But you got to get back up, bro. You literally have to get back up. And sometimes there's nobody there to push you. And more times than none, it'll be like that, because you probably won't be invested into your business. Well, somebody else probably won't invest into your business as much as you will. So you have to be built to get back up and to keep on going. And to be honest, I think a very important factor to answer this question is to have no expectations, because you cannot plan to join a pop-up shop, brings your stuff, sell zero, sell nothing, and be mad about that. You gotta kind of be ready to lose, literally.
Or learn something.
Yeah, because like you said, it's not a loss. It's a learning. It's literally a learning. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. Don't have any expectations, because sometimes things don't go the way you want them to go. And if it was like that, everybody will be rich. Everybody will have a Fortune 500 company. Don't have any expectations, but be built to get back up and to keep going. Because that C word, consistency, I feel like that's just a theme with a lot of brands and designers, You gotta stay consistent no matter what.
Good. For the small business owner, right? For the small person who's getting into fashion, can you give them some tools on marketing? Because sometimes it's hard, bro. It's hard. It's not, sometimes people aren't as social, right? But they can't go to a party and hand out shirts to everybody. What tools would you tell them, like, use this for marketing, like whether it's Instagram ads, and actually, because I speak to a lot of people who are in the fashion industry and trying to get it up and running, and sometimes they don't want to put that budget into marketing. So it's like $200
They don't
is not
understand
going to get you to where you want to get. So for the young entrepreneurs just getting into the fashion game, what tools would you use to market their brand?
So before, like, the tools, we have to understand that you have to think outside of the box when it comes to marketing, because it's 2022 right now, and everybody's trying to market their brand. Everybody. And the big names are competing with the little names now,
And the big names is getting into the little game too. They go pay a TikTok star $5,000.
Yeah, we can't do that.
You can't.
I can't
we
do
can't
that.
do that.
So, you got to think outside the box when you use these tools. You got to be active on social media for sure. You have to have an email list, a newsletter, at least one email per month minimum, bro. You have to show the world your stuff. Get a SMS text service. You're going to have to pay for it, and it's going to benefit you.
Do you have any recommendations on companies they can use?
There's a bunch, depending on the platform of the website you use. There's a bunch, and there are some more better and some are more intricate, but the best ones might not be good for smaller businesses. So whatever fits your budget and whatever works for you, but make sure to do research on the SMS text service, because think about it, bro. We're on our phones every day. Everybody's on their phone every day. Feel me? Those three, that has to be second nature for your business. But then you also have to step outside of the box and make products that are solely for marketing. I'm talking about make a rolling paper, make an ashtray, I got a car freshener. You know how many?
This basketball.
I got a basketball. This is marketing. You have to spend money to market. And if you're not spending money,
this is outside the
spend
box.
time. Word.
This is outside the box, because not a lot of people think of putting anything on a basketball.
You gotta be different.
This is Nike shit right here.
Yeah, and you see the grooves on the basketball. We could go play right now, and this is elite regulation size, NBA size basketball. But that just goes to show that you kind of have to be different, and you got to be willing to put either the time, the money, or the effort. And if not, all three. But something like this, get a stencil and go spray paint your logo. I've done it. I've got dirty by doing it. You have to do it. Get business cards, get ID cards for your garments, get keychains, literally, you could do a lot, there's a lot. And now in 2022, all you got to do is go on Pinterest and type in accessories, and you'll get so many ideas. Or you could just go on Supreme's website and look at all of their accessories. Feel me? Because you might not be able to do all of them, but maybe you could do an accessory that resonates with your brand, like what I did with my car fresheners. I think I didn't really even make money on that, because that wasn't the point. The point was to get that logo circulating on Instagram, on Twitter, in people's cars.
That calls people to take a picture.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what people understand sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. It's not all about making money, right? Sometimes you're gonna take a L on the back end, but you're getting a W on the front.
For sure.
That's an important attribute in business, right? People don't understand the back end of stuff. You gotta understand, business, right? You don't have to go to college for it. There's millions of YouTube videos from sources that we respect and know, or even college. If you want to just go take one semester of business, that's a possibility, and it's not. You go to community college, it's $400. It may sound like a lot, but it's worth
An investment.
Now, something very important in the fashion world, and this is even a personal question. How do you go about, getting a trademark? And what's the difference between getting a trademark and just going out and putting your business and say, okay, my business LLC? Because we know that even though you put your business LLC, they could still use that name if they wanted it.
Cool. So I think it's kind of like you have to determine if you're ready and when you're ready to trademark your brand, business, or product. You kind of have to understand that that's an investment, and it has to be important to you in order to get that trademark, because this is something that you have to go. It's a process to get,
And it's expensive.
and yeah, you're spending a good amount of money too on it. So
And it could be easily denied.
yeah, and you could lose your money.
Yeah.
If you're deeply invested in your brand or business or even your logo or your name, then consider trademarking it, because that's you protecting your property technically. And let's be real, it's 2022 right now. If you're not protecting your property and your assets, then you're kind of lost in the sauce, So I would highly recommend those who are ready to start thinking about trademarks, just so you can protect your brand for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You just never know. Also, a bunch of retailers and like second party stores would require that for you to work with them. And imagine you doing all that work, forgetting about your trademark, getting a call, and they realize that you don't have nothing trademarked, so you can't make anything for them. That'll break your heart for sure. Go trademark it if you're invested in it, for sure.
Perfect. And now, going towards the future, right? Where do you look scaling the Very Clean?
It's a great question, bro.
Just where you want it to be. It doesn't have to be where your plans are right now. Where do you want it to be? And in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 years, this brand is going to be nationwide, for sure. For sure. It might not be in every single state in the country, but we're going to have gear in Cali. We're going to have gear in Vegas. We're going to have gear in Phoenix. And if we don't have gear in stores over there, we're going to have people that are over there buying on a consistent basis, supporting the Very Clean. Because with this consistency and with these opportunities, the only place we could go is up. The only place we could go is up, Very grateful for Footlocker and for the staff at Footlocker. Shout out to y'all. Very grateful for my team behind me, my brothers, my family. And ultimately, I'm OD grateful, very, very grateful for all the support that comes. Because without the support, we wouldn't be, projecting to do what we're hopefully going to do in the future. In the next 5 years, this has to be a household name. It has to be.
It will be.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's already a household name in the Heights.
Maybe in New York, but now we got to take it across the globe.
So, bro, tell me about this launch you have coming up with Footlocker in July 1st, right?
Yeah, bro. So this will be the third Footlocker drop. Launch date right now is July 1st. It's a Friday. And that day, we're also celebrating that launch in Footlocker 181st. If you got any Very Clean garments, any friends with Very Clean garments, I highly suggest you pull up. There's going to be a bunch of free stuff given out. There's going to be It's going to be a celebration for sure. A celebration for the culture, We doing it.
How many pieces you guys drop on this?
So we dropping seven individual garments.
And they're gonna have old garments, or we're just doing like a brand?
Nah, this is a brand new, fresh garment set. Just perfect timing too. Obviously you see the colors, red, white, and blue, right before July 4th weekend. So I feel like people gonna fuck with it. We got a tracksuit, we got some shorts, we got 3 short sleeve shirts for the summer, and we got one very special, very fire hoodie. Very fire hoodie for sure.
They want to buy it now so they can have it for the fall season.
You might need it. You might need it for July 4th. That's all I'm gonna say.
Perfect.
And all I'm gonna say, that white tee, you might need that too. That's a banger.
Before we leave, brother, I feel like I already know your answers to this question, but if you were to give your younger self or even a younger person out there looking to start their entrepreneurship journey, you know, what would be 2 to 3 tips? I feel like you're gonna tell me consistency, dedication.
Yo, literally, that's the first word, because even now, being years into this, that's the word that I hear in my head every day. Me speaking to that sophomore in Oswego who just got the key to the studio. I don't know, bro. I would just say, yo, bro. I would tell him to buckle up. I'd be like, yo, bro, Nees, buckle up, my brother. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Don't expect nothing. Don't expect anything. And stay consistent even if you lose. Those 3 things right there, that's what I live by every day. And I would literally tell that to my younger self. What I would tell to a younger entrepreneur that isn't me, might come from a different background. Now in 2022, you have to understand that the world is changing, you know, and the internet is your best friend. The things that you can learn now in 2022, they weren't on YouTube in 2015. It might sound crazy, but you know that. And go on YouTube, learn your stuff, research your stuff, and understand how the internet could benefit you. There's too many perks that come with the internet, from free knowledge to free graphics to free t-shirts. There's just too much, you know?
I mean, bro, they can make a t-shirt on Canva right now.
On Canva and produce it like that.
On your phone, and straight, you don't even have to go to anyone, straight through Canva. It's gonna be more expensive, but
it's possible, right?
Tell us, brother, to conclude, where can they find you at, or just your brand at, besides Footlocker? Where can they find you at on the social?
So yeah, you know, you can find me on Instagram. My DMs were active every day. We respond like that. Instagram is at The Very Clean, pretty much. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on my Facebook with the Facebook shop.
And starting July 1st, we're at 16 locations. Can you tell us, like, maybe the top 5 that you can remember at the top of your head right now?
For sure, yeah. So some locations that you could go on July 1st, that Friday, to buy the Very Clean X Footlocker collection, the All-Star collection. You could go to Times Square. You could go to 14th Street. You could obviously go to 181st in the Heights. You could go to Dykeman. You could even go to the Bronx, to Southern Boulevard. You could go to Fordham. You could go to University, 170 University.
And the rest are just gonna have to. You're gonna have to DM you.
Yeah.
And see where they can.
I'll post them. They'll be posted on my page by the time that this video is dropped, for sure.
Well, definitely, thank you very much, brother, for joining us. We want to give you flowers while you're here. You know, we appreciate you and we're proud of you. And we hope you just go do better things. And then a year from now, we're gonna be like, recap.
Your word.
All right, brother.
Recap. Thank you for having me, my brother. Appreciate this. And yo, let's continue pushing wealth.